Julia here from JM2 Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me, still dealing a little bit with that summer slowdown, but still some really cool pieces sold, some really interesting brands, some cool vintage, lots of cool things to talk about. Hopefully you're starting to pick up as vacation time starts to wind down and back to school shopping and the buying season starts to tick up. But before we get started here, if you are new, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia. That is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But naturally, it's Monday and I am running late. I don't know if there will ever be a Monday where I am not running late, but needless to say, I've got to get these things packed and off to the post office. I've still got a completely packed afternoon. So go grab yourselves a snack, go grab yourselves a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipment. All right, we'll get started today with this cute little Billabong dress. This is, I think, called the Heartbreaker dress. It's got little tie sleeves. It's brand new with tags. That's why I picked this up. I pick up more than most people do in Billabong. It's not necessarily something I would recommend to everybody to pick up. Cotton pieces, kimonos, those kind of things sell really quickly for me, but little dresses like this, especially if you're not sourcing at like a bins location where you're getting it for $1 or $2, like, I wouldn't recommend it. I picked this up because it was brand new with tags. And that's really the only time I'll pick up something like this. Those kind of conditions have to be right. And what I'm about to say is gonna contradict that, but it's very much a crapshoot with Billabong. You know, it's not like you pick up something brand new with tags and you know you're gonna get a great price on it. It just happened to happen on this one. It's not something that I would count on happening, and it's certainly not something that I would tell you is like a pretty sure thing. I try to be pretty realistic when I make my recommendations for you. Obviously, not everything that works well for me is gonna work for everybody, you know, so I always urge you to like run my recommendations through your own business and what sells for you and what you have access to. But something like this, you're gonna see a lot of Billabong when you're out thrifting, when you're out at the bins, and just be very judicious with what you pick up. Take into consideration like your storage space, how long you want to keep stuff around, what your ideal profit margin is, etc. But this one did sell quite well and quite quickly. So this guy I had listed for only a week and a half, and it popped through as a full price sale at $32. Now, like I said, I feel like that was a fluke on this. I have other new with tags Billabong stuff that's been sitting for a while. So again, I'm only gonna get it at that bins price, that real like $1, $2 price range. So have this listed for a week and a half, popped through as a full price sale at $32 with a $1 cost at the bins. This brought my profit to $28.14. I actually love that. It is a really cute dress and it is brand new with tags. So I love, I hate seeing stuff like that in the bins because you know that it's like, somebody paid full price for it and it never got worn, but now at least it's going into somebody's closet where it'll actually get a little bit of wear. Next up, now this is one that took me a while to sell and it kind of surprised me. This is one of the linen Cuba shirts from Reformation. And Reformation is one of those brands that I absolutely love to find. Even the littlest wisp of a thing is going to sell well, but this took a while to sell. I think this might be an older print. This Cuba shirt, this kind of boxy button-down spread collar shirt that they do, is something that they release every year. They release like a new pattern, and some patterns are more collectible than others. There's one with like a cloud print on it that seems to be the one that like everybody is seeking for. And some of them go up to like $100 on the resale market. Like, no lie, I want to say that they retail around $100, maybe a little bit more than $100. And they're not all linen. Some of them are rayon, some of them are a bit more of a flowy fabric. This one in particular is 100% linen. But Reformation is just one of those brands that especially if I'm getting it at the bins, I'm gonna pick it up. And for the most part, if I see it even in a regular thrift store and it's $5, $6, $7, up to $10, I'm still gonna buy it because you're still gonna have enough meat on the bone to make a decent profit, even again in the most like wispy of pieces. So this one I've had for about 7 months. This is very unusual for any like Reformation piece. Again, maybe it has something to do with the size, maybe it had something to do with the pattern. It was in fantastic shape. And I've sold a bunch of these in between the time that I got this one and when I sold this one. And they sold, within 1 or 2 weeks for a great price. Anyway, I had this one listed at $56 and me and the buyer went back and forth a bunch on price, and we landed on $38. This is after 7 months of having this in stock. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $29.44. So not as great of a profit as I had expected on this, and as I've realized on other similar shirts, but sometimes that is just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, I'm not gonna show you only the good parts, I'm gonna show you the good and the bad. I mean, listen, like, I paid $1 for it, a $38 sales price on it is fantastic. So perspective, but again, it's Reformation, it's a pretty in-demand style. I expected to get a little bit more, but I was ready to move it out. It has been here for 7 months, so it was time. Next up, another Bolo brand. So this is a brand called Brochu Walker, B-R-O-C-H-U, Walker, like Walker. And when I picked this up, I didn't know the brand at all, but when I felt it, I was like, oh my God, that jersey is really nice. Like, all the details and the finishing is really nice. It was a size large, and it's just like a little cotton jersey camisole. This is like a wisp of a shirt, but again, all of the hallmarks were there for a really ridiculously high quality piece. So come to find out, Brochu Walker is super, super expensive brand. This probably ran like close to $100, if not a little bit more than $100 retail, which is insane to me as somebody who thrifts. Somebody's gonna pay $100 for something like this, but they did, and it's really beautiful, and I'm super happy to have found it. Again, this is one of those things where I really leaned on my spidey senses to figure out if it was worth picking up. I love to pick up these kind of fun pieces with colors and textures and interesting fabrics, but don't sleep on the basics. Don't sleep on the cream colored camisole that you have your hands on. Like, it might just be something. If it feels nice, check it out. Always comp it. You can always comp it. You can always put it back. So this one I had listed for $36 for 2 months. And it is kind of a niche brand. I'm pretty sure it's sold at ultra high-end stores like Bergdorf and, Saks. So it's in that mix with those ultra high luxury brands. So I had it listed for $36 for 2 months and got a $30 offer on it, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $23, which is kind of a crazy number when you are talking about a cream cotton camisole. But the details make all the difference, guys. When they say the devil's in the details, they're not kidding. Next up, this is another one that I've sold multiple things like this in the meantime. And this one kind of sat around. I moved kind of a lot of older inventory this weekend, which was nice. I like moving that older inventory. Let me know, I'm very interested. Would you rather have a weekend where you sold all old inventory or all brand new inventory? Let me know down below, because I'm kind of torn. There's something about selling older inventory that just that feels just very satisfying to me. I don't know. But anyway, I've had this, this is Victoria's Secret. It's mulberry silk. It's this beautiful leopard camisole. And the funny thing is, the girl who ended up buying it contacted me, and she was like, I sold this on eBay. She's like, is there a reason that the shipping is so high? And I wasn't sure what she was talking about when I popped in. I mean, this is like a wisp of a thing. The shipping was $15.95. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? So turns out I had an additional digit in the box measurements. So it was probably registering as an oversized box. So instead of saying it was 15 by 12 by 2, I had it 15 by 12 by 12. So as soon as I changed that, it came back down to a reasonable amount. But guys, check your measurements, because that could easily be the reason why this didn't move for as long as it didn't move. At least on eBay, at least on anything with calculated shipping. But I will pick up any silk leopard piece that I find. Literally any silk leopard piece that I find, especially at the bins. Leopard is just forever in style, and silk is also forever in style. So I had this one for 6 months. And again, in that 6 months, I must have sold 30 silk leopard pieces in the interim from nicer brands and less nice brands. Anyway, I had this listed for $32, 6 months, and got an offer for $27, which I gladly accepted. I was ready to move this on. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $23.30. So, lesson learned, the good and the bad, right? Next up, oh, this was such a cool find. So this is a beautiful linen dress. It's fully lined in cotton from a brand called the Shanty Corporation. The Shanty Corporation is an Australian brand. They make kind of like beachy, surf-related garments. Look at that raw hem there. This is another thing that I thought would sell a little bit quicker. It's just a linen dress. It's super cute. It's high-low, but I don't think it photographed really well because of its shape. It kind of has a little bit of like a trapeze shape to it, so it goes out instead of having any kind of cut to it. But it's definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. I wouldn't go pay $20 for it, but if you find it in the bins, for sure pick it up, because they retail very, very expensive. I want to say this dress was probably close to $250. Of course, the resale doesn't match, because it's not a super widely known brand. I think it's more of a niche situation, but perfect thing to keep your eyes out for in the bins. So I had this for about 3 months, and if memory serves me right, when I first found this, there was some like blue staining on the side of the dress. The dress was in fantastic condition, but there was like this light blue staining and it looked like ink. And if you don't know, one of the things that you can use to get out ink, like pen ink, is alcohol. Like regular rubbing alcohol. You can also use like hairspray. Always, always, always test it on like an interior seam or something to make sure that like the fabric is color fast, but it came right out, one wash, cleaned up like a dream. I always love situations like that. So that's probably why it got donated, because otherwise it was in perfect condition. So anyway, I had this one listed for $42, 3 months, and I had gone back and forth with the buyer on this. Landed on a price of $30 with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $23 even. I hope she loves it. It is a fantastic little dress. Now this is another one I've had for a long time now. I got this last summer at some point. I think I've had this for almost a year. This is a Madewell sweater in this beautiful cornflower blue. It's textured on the front, it's smooth on the back. It is a cotton blend. It is so cute, but it is something that took a minute to sell. Size small. Madewell is one of those brands that I've really slowed up on picking up. There's certain things that I will pick up from Madewell, like there are certain kinds of shirts, like the courier shirt people really like. Certain cuts of the jeans people really like. But literally just my last video, people were commenting saying like, hey, I just saw a ton of Madewell jeans at TJ Maxx. So that could be part of the reason that Madewell is slowing up here. I mean, I've been a thrifter for so long that I rarely go to TJ Maxx's, but maybe that's something that'll kind of like work into my practice. You know, from here on out, maybe I'll go like once a week, every other week, see what brands are there. Cause I feel like that becomes like, it's a major competitor to secondhand. Yes, it's hunting. Yes, you have to like hope that they have something in your size, but you know, if a shopper does find something in their size at TJ Maxx and the price is similar to what you're gonna get at secondhand, like why would you buy it secondhand? It's like, it's hunting like going to a thrift store is, but it's less intensive hunting, right? Like you don't, you know, things are separated by size. It's not like you have to go and search the entire store to see if maybe they have something cute, right? So anyway, maybe I'll work that in and kind of keep you guys abreast with what I'm finding. We've got a couple like higher end TJ Maxx's in this area. So I think they're gonna be a good like tell of what high-end brands are starting to show up over there. It's what happened to Joie. I think that's why Joie kind of fell off for a lot of resellers. Hippie, same deal. Anyway, Madewell. So I had this listed for $32 and I had it for 11 months and I got an offer for $23. I was ready to move this along with a $2 cost at one of my bins locations. This brought my profit to $16.40. It is a great sweater. I hope she loves it. I absolutely love that color. I think that's one of those really flattering colors on so many skin tones. Next up, now check out this absolutely dreamy cocktail dress. This is from Hon Heritage. And this is one of those things that like, I'm always gonna pick up brands like this, knowing that they're gonna take a little while to sell. Number one, the price point is gonna be a little bit higher on the resale market. Plus, this was a size 0, plus it's a special occasion dress, so it needed to have, you know, a special occasion to be worn for. But this absolute minimalist dream, look at that. So it's got this flap that goes over the top, but like the inner construction, guys, if you want to know what like high quality inner construction looks like, take a gander at that inner piece that's completely boned all the way around. It's got built-in cups, just stunning. And look at the seaming on the back. That is just gonna hug the body and kind of flare out a little bit. It's slightly high-low, just a gorgeous dress. Hon Heritage, I believe, is a diffusion brand off of Halston, but the quality is there. And I wanna say that these retail for like, you know, $300, $400, $500. And I'll tell you, the quality's there. This is just a dreamy dress. I knew that for the person, you know, who could wear this dress, it was gonna be really special. Very minimalist, beautifully made. For the most part, if I'm wrapping in like the Tyvek envelopes, for the most, those are water resistant. Those are pretty good in the rain. I've gotten things delivered that are, you know, that were absolutely soaked in rain and were totally fine in those Tyvek envelopes. This is just going to a kind of rainy place. You know, I kind of go to war with myself about picking up cocktail dresses because, you know, common sense tells you they're like one of the least worn things in your wardrobe. But at the same time, and I always use my own experience and my own kind of inclinations as a good tell, it's also one of the things that people like to pay full price for the least. Number one, they're generally a lot more expensive than most other items that you might have in your wardrobe. But a lot of times you're just gonna wear them one time, right? Like you're just gonna wear them to so-and-so's wedding, or you're gonna wear it to this formal event, you're gonna wear it to this ball. So I do pick them up, especially when they're brands like Hon Heritage. I will always pick them up. I have a separate closet for high-end pieces that's all cedar lined. So, you know, I can hold on to them for a while and keep them pretty safe. Anyway, so this guy I had listed for about 5 months. I had it listed for $79. I got an offer for $67, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $51.24. And I hope she absolutely loves it and feels gorgeous in it because, my God, that dress is so stunning and like exactly my flavor, exactly my taste. Next up, this is one of my favorite kind of things to find. We always talk about these kind of retro style dresses. This one is from a brand called Voodoo Vixen, which I've never found before, but quality wise and style wise, it falls in line with like mod cloths, more vintage style stuff, unique vintage. Collective. Collective is pretty much my favorite. I don't think I've ever had a piece from Collective sit more than like a week. People love them. People seek them out. Immediately after listing, I get tons of looks, and it's not from any of you guys. You know, this is just something that people search for. I say it all the time. This is one of those like styles of clothing. Think like goth clothing, kind of niche clothing. There's a limited amount of businesses that make them. You know, in this world, you've got like maybe the 5 that I'm aware of and maybe another 5 or 10 more, and that's it, you know, versus something like a sweatshirt where there's literally thousands of companies out there making them. It's just a finite pool of designers and manufacturers. So they're just more in demand. Think about how anything from Dolls Kill sells. Like it goes quick because it's, you know, a Dolls Kill brand, and like it's one of the few places that people who are into that style can go to find that clothing. You know, and add that into the fact that if you are, you know, not near a major metro city, there's literally nowhere where you can go and like buy in person. So this one was kind of a trumpet style skirt, which in my experience is probably the least selling of all the styles. You really want to keep your eyes out for, you know, the more full like circle style skirt or like a wiggle dress that's like kind of narrow all the way down, but it doesn't matter. These are gonna sell, they're gonna sell quick, they're gonna sell for a decent price. So anyway, I had this listed for just 2 weeks. Next up, now this was kind of a crazy quick sell. These I just found, I think they were in my haul from last week. This is a pair of linen shorts from a brand called Lenot. And Lenot primarily makes bedding, but this linen is just a dream. And again, like I'm gonna pick up a pair of, like anything linen, especially anything like unusual that's linen. Because, you know, there are linen nuts, and yes, linen shirts I'm still gonna pick up. But linen boxer shorts, I've never seen them before. So I grabbed them, the tag looked nice. I've never heard of the brand before, but now they're officially on my radar. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I'm a complete bedding snob, but if you're new here, I'm a complete bedding snob, so I pride myself on knowing all these kind of small, really excellent bedding companies, and Lenot is another one. So I had this listed for one day, and I had it listed at $26 and got an offer for $21, which I gladly accepted. I want to say that they retail either $40 or $50, so still a pretty great resale value considering their retail value. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $18.50. And again, I will be eyes out for those. I mean, that sold in a day. And that also had a bunch of likes on it. It's not even just that it popped off as a sale, like it had a lot of interest in it within that 24 hours. Next up is this cute dress from MAVE. I think this is called the Sasha dress. I have had Sasha dresses in kind of solid, like not printed versions, and they've sold really quick for like 40 to 50 bucks. Printed ones, not as much interest at all as the solid ones. I do love the shape of this dress. It's like a perfect kind of like, I don't want to call it a baby doll dress. It's a tiered dress, but it drapes really beautifully. It's got a V-neck. It's just one of those really like flattering on every body dresses. And it is a dress that people like know about. So definitely something to pick up. If you see out there, I would even say comfortably pay up a little bit for it. If you see it out there, this is probably the least amount that you'll get for any of them. If you find like a navy blue one, you find an all black one, you can pretty comfortably bet somewhere mid to upper 30s, if not into the 40s, depending on the size, into the 50s. They retail for like $128, so, you know, they're in that range. MAVE is one of the Anthropologie brands that really still sells very, very well for me. It's one of the ones that, you know, is still very prevalent in their store. And of the modern pieces that I find from Anthropologie, I probably find the most MAVE. It's either MAVE or by Anthropologie. I do love finding it. I love finding it at the bins. I did find this at the bins. But again, just knowing that price, knowing that dress is one of those kind of dresses that's known and searched for. Go look it up. Sasha, it's like S-A-C-H-A. I think there's C-S-H-A, something like that. Go check it out so you're familiar with it and keep your eyes out for it while you are outsourcing. So I had this listed for 4 months at $36 and got an offer for $28, which I did accept. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $24.31. Again, that's probably going to be around the lowest that you'll get for it. It is a size medium, it is a print, but keep your eyes out for that black, that blue, the solid colors. People love them. Next up, we've got this cute pair of pants from Fresh Produce. Fresh Produce is one of those kind of sleeper brands that I love to find. They're not a huge brand, but they are a brand that people know and people love. They use really high quality cotton. Their style is very kind of like boho, almost into like the log and look world. Think like rich hippie living down the shore. That is pretty much what Fresh Produce is. Really like beautiful organic fabrics, muted colors, ultra soft cottons. So I never found one of their pants before. So this was an exciting find for me. I wasn't sure how long this would take to sell. I wasn't sure how much it would go for. The t-shirts usually go between 20 and 30 and generally pretty quick for me. Again, something to pick up if you are able to get them at that kind of bins price, or even, you know, $2.99 or whatever at the thrift store at a $2 day. Like I would pick up Fresh Produce in good condition. But these, there wasn't many sold comps, so I kind of just like went off of what I could find. So I had these listed for just a month and a half, and I had them listed at $28. I priced them kind of similar to how I would do a t-shirt, because they are really like, they are a pair of pants, but they're kind of like a very lightweight, not like a super substantial pair of pants. So I had them listed at $28 for a month and a half, got an offer for $22, which I did accept. The $1 cost of the bins has brought my profit to $17.46. Hope she loves them and finds a lot of comfort in them. Next up, this is one from my own closet. This is a Lucky Brand boho kind of peplum-esque top. You can't really see, I'm sure you can't really see the detail, but it has this beautiful embroidery down the front with a split neck. It's just one that I had in my closet that I wasn't reaching for, but it is super cute. And I've had a lot of interest on this. I did have this listed, I want to say, for about a year. So I wasn't super surprised that it didn't sell over the winter, but these kinds of shirts, this is a size medium. If this were like a size extra large or 1X, 2X, this probably would have sold in no time flat. Lucky boho tops, specifically in larger sizes, sell so well for me. The mediums and stuff, they will still sell. They will just sit for a little bit longer. The quality on them is always really nice. I'm always like delighted by the quality of their embroidery. It always kind of reminds me a little bit of Johnny Was. Like obviously it's not as luxe as Johnny Was embroidery, but it's still pretty dang nice considering the price point, like the retail price point. So I had this listed again for about a year. I think I listed this last summer. And I had it listed for $18. It is like slub jersey. It's not like a super significant shirt aside from that embroidery. And it popped through as a full price sale, which is always exciting, especially after a year. I owned this, so my profit ended up being $15.21. Happy to have moved this one along. This one was probably getting close to the point of where I would like donate it, just because I had it sitting for sale for so long. So I'm always excited when I can move something, especially as a full price sale when it's kind of getting close to the chopping block. And finally here, a fun vintage piece. This is a like Y2K vintage ski style sweater from this brand called MG Ski, which I've never heard of, and that's saying something because like I know the ski industry pretty well. But this is in like brand new condition. It's very clearly vintage. It just has all the kind of tells. And I grabbed this and I knew this would sell, especially with back to school. This feels, if anybody's around my age, you're probably pretty familiar with sweaters like this, because this is exactly what the boys would have been buying during back to school when I was in high school. Like exactly. I will always pick up these kind of 90s pieces, these Y2K pieces. I mean, it was an era that I lived through and was like interested in fashion during, so I'm pretty well versed in it. I know really what to look for and what not to look for. I'm happy to impart my 90s and 2000s school knowledge to you, but this thing was in absolutely brand new condition, and it was completely unsurprising, to me at least, a Depop sale. So I had this for about 3 months. Again, those kind of vintage pieces are things that are rarely going to sell super quick, but I know that they will sell because they're one of a kind, right? Like you can't go out to a store and buy this today. So I'm always really comfortable making those purchases. Whether it works for you or not is obviously up to you and your business and what moves for you. But for me, this kind of stuff is like an always pick up. So I got this for $1 at the bins. I had it listed for 3 months at $32. It popped through as a full price sale, which I love. And with that $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $29.14. And I hope he's delighted with it. This really is like dead stock condition. By the way, that is, if you ever find a vintage piece, like especially in that 90s world, Y2K world, if you find a piece and it's like brand new condition or it's new with tags, whatever, you want to use that keyword dead stock, because that is a term that a lot of people use to find like vintage new with tags pieces. So it's a valuable keyword. Make sure you have it in your repertoire. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I've got to hightail it to the post office, get back, crush out the rest of the things that I have planned for the afternoon, and hopefully be able to sit back and watch a little bit more of the Olympics tonight. It is always so nice to be able to have somebody to chat with while I am doing this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate all of you choosing to spend a little of your precious time with me. But without further ado, guys, of course, I'm still running late, so I've got to get running. So I hope you all have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.